Hey guys, it's May May, and today we're gonna make one of these curtain fold cards. Now, I've seen these all over the internet, and I've had several people on my Facebook group ask me to recreate this. So I started to play, and I wanna show you the beginnings. This is the card we're gonna actually make today. Not these same colors, a different color, but I like the way this one turned out. These two I didn't love so much. Look at this one. The pleats are bigger. It's a little, this is the very first one I did, and I just didn't love it. It's not the worst. It's a totally usable, sendable card, but it's not the look I was going for. So we're not doing that one. And then this one was done very much the same way, just backwards, and I just didn't love it. But after playing for what seems like forever, I got this one, and so I want to show you how to do this one. I think it's really cute. Now, it's a little difficult to do. I'm not going to even tease you about that. The first thing you need to do is you need to pick 3 different cardstocks and a card base, okay? So I'm using gray for my card base. I'm using this stripe, and this pattern. Now here's the trick. One of them has to be double-sided, okay? So all of these pages happen to be double-sided, but you have to have one that's double-sided. I'm gonna use this one for my curtain pleat, okay? So this will be the front of the pleat, this will be the back. These two are gonna be the patterns on the card that you'll see how we use those in a few minutes. Okay, so the first thing I wanna do is prep this striped paper for the curtain pleat. I need this paper to be 11.5 inches long. So I just took 1/2 inch off of my 12-inch piece of paper to give me 11.5. And now I want to cut this piece to 4 inches. Now here's my reasoning. If I do these pleats 11 by 4, then you can get 2, 4, 6 from one piece of paper, okay? So I cut that to 4. I'm not gonna make 6 cards today, but I wanna show you what I'm talking about. Cut this down to 4. And when I do that, I end up with 3 pieces of 4 by 11 paper. Now we only need one. We're gonna use this one 4 by 11 piece of paper, and we're gonna do a little angle cut. Now you have a couple of options. You can go to the edge of your paper and mark in 1 inch on this end. You can flip it over and mark in 1 inch on this end, and you can use those marks to make your cut. But I wanna show you how to use your paper trimmer to get the same effect, okay? Now we're going to the trimmer. This is the part that can get confusing, but you have 2 options. Your first option, you can mark 1 inch on your paper end and 1 inch on your paper end, and then line that up on your blade and slice it. That's super easy. But I want to show you another way to do it with your trimmer where you don't have to measure anything. What you'll do is you'll take this top corner of your paper here and put it to your 1 inch mark on your trimmer. All right, so that's the top corner, 1 inch. The bottom corner, you're gonna angle back until it reaches that 1 inch mark that is past your cutting blade. You know, most trimmers have some measurements on this side and measurements on the other side. That's what we're doing. We're using both. We're using the 1 inch mark on this side and the 1 inch mark on that side. So you can see I have the paper angled in the trimmer. Then just lay your blade down. I'm totally doing this sideways, and slice. Now, once you do this, I'll show you what we get because I want you to see this in the trimmer. You pull this apart and you end up with 2 angle sliced pieces, and that's what we're looking for. Again, you can just make your 1 inch marks and do your cutting that way, but I thought this is a pretty easy way. Line up to this 1 inch, line up to that 1 inch on the other side of the cut blade, and slice. Now it's time to score. And for me, this was the hardest part to get right. And I did this with a bunch of test pieces, and this is one of my test pieces. So I have all these measurements written out, okay? So I'm gonna tell you the measurements. I'm going to put them on my blog in a blog post so that you don't even have to try to write this down. You can go right over there and get it, and that'll be linked below. Your first score is 1 inch, okay? Your next score is 2.5, and I'm looking at my cheat sheet to make sure I tell you everything correctly. Your next one is 3 1/4. Your next one is 4 3/4. The next one is 5 3/4. Then 7 1/4. Then 8, 9.5, 10 1/4. Now I have seen these done much easier measurements, like more even and precise, and you know, every inch to 2 inches, what have you. But I just wanted my pleat to look the way I have it on that card. So I thought if I give you the measurements, you won't have a problem with that. You'll be able to just follow those score measurements. Now for folding. Whichever side you want to be the top of your paper, you start this first fold down and under, okay? If you wanted this side to be the front of your paper, your pleats will go from this end down. So you'll take this side down and under. But I want this stripe to be it. So I'm going to start with the first one and press it down and under. The next fold comes up. Okay, and what I would do at this point is go ahead and start doing all your creasing. It just makes it easier. So I've creased that one. Then we'll take this piece and flip it back and let it fold at our next score line, and then crease that one. Then we're going to come back. We're just accordion folding this. Try to line it up at the top. Do your bone folder, accordion fold, crease it down, accordion fold. It's not hard. I know it probably seems like it is because my hands are all over the place, but we're just following those score marks and just accordion folding everywhere there's a score mark. So now that you have everything done, I'm going to go back and just do a little more creasing, and you can flip it over and crease the other side so that all of your creases get nice and burnished. Okay, so there's what we're looking like. I love how that looks already. Now then, for ease sake, I'm going to take my art glitter glue and I'm going to go inside each one of these folds and glue it down, okay? You could certainly use a sticky tape or any other adhesive you have that you want to use. This one just makes it easy for me because I just run that tip in there, run some glue, and then sit it down. But if you want to use sticky tape, just open it up and put your tape in between each one of those folds. Do that on the front, then flip it over and do it on the back as well. So now we've glued all of it down, and I'm very pressy with it. I press it and press it a lot. So here we go. So we're nice and glued down. Looks nice, huh? Now let's put it on our card front. Now the way I did this was with 3 pieces. This is the one piece that we've already accordion folded. This piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and this piece is 4 by 2. So I want to show you what I did. I took this piece and I glued this piece to it. So I'm just gonna put some art glitter glue on here. For me, this just helps me line this up easier, okay? Then I took it and lined it up at the top of this page. You can even like pick this up and use your work surface to kind of get that lined up straight. I'm hanging off just slightly. I'm gonna trim that off. So now I know where I'm going to put my pleat. For me, that was the easiest thing. My pleat will sit right where those pages meet. And now you see I end up with 3 patterns, the underneath, the top, and here. For me, that was the easiest. If you want to cut these pieces separate and kind of put them on your card base and match them all up, you can do that, but this just worked really well for me. Now I'm going to run some glue along the top and anywhere back here I want to, because this is all going to get stuck down to the card front. So now, just line it up with where that paper is. That makes it super easy to have that little lip to line it up to. Just like so. And now that is stuck down. So see, that's the front of the card pretty much done. Now we want to address this area here, and I'm going to put ribbon across that. I have this really pretty gray ribbon that was sent to me by a subscriber, and this is going to go across the middle here. So I'm going to cut a piece big enough to go across. And I'm going to use some tape and tape it down in the back just to be easy. So what I do, I have the card where I can see the back. I lay this ribbon halfway across where my pleat and the top paper is. Let me show you what I mean. I'm splitting the difference, okay? So I'm laying it halfway across like so. And I'm doing it where I can see the back of the paper too to put my tape down. That'll hold that piece in place, and then I can just pull this one straight across. And I want to check the front and make sure we're nice and straight. Looks good. Then I will just tape that down. So see, now we have separated the pleat from the top. Now you want to decide what your sentiment's going to be. I put my sentiment on my last card down here, but I really think this big open area needs something, so I'm going to put a sentiment up here. I'm going to use 2 of my stamp sets today. I'm using this one called Stitch Shapes and this one that's called Define Emotions. And I may even use another one on the inside, but for now we're going to start with that. I'm starting with that oval stitched shape and some cream colored cardstock. I'm just gonna stamp that in the top corner there. Just like so. And then I'm gonna cut that out after we put our sentiment in it. Now I'm gonna decide which sentiment I wanna put inside. I just do this and see what fits and how I like it. And I like this one that says Dream. That one looks good. So let's pick this guy up. Ink him with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink and then stamp right inside here. just like that. I like it. And then I'm just gonna cut this out with my scissors. So now I have my little dream sentiment ready, and I'm thinking I may put a bow here. So let me tie a bow and see how it looks. I'm just gonna do a little bunny-eared bow where I take 2 loops and knot them together, and then we get a little bow that's pretty simple to do. And you can mess with it all you want to. I think this ribbon is so pretty. It's really more like a seam binding, but it is so pretty. There we go. And then I think this is gonna go right here in this area, and I'm gonna use a glue dot to put it down. So I have these glue dots. To be honest, I think the best option for this would be hot glue, because this is such a woven ribbon that I'm using. But I'm going to see how this works. If this doesn't hold well, I may come back and put it down with some hot glue at a later time. So there's that little bow in place, and then I'm gonna pop this up on some foam tape. Then I think I'm gonna center this at the top, because it seems like it will work that way really well. Oh, I like how that looks. Very good. Now we can glue this to our card base. So I've got my card base, and I've covered the back with some art glitter glue. And now I'm just going to put this onto my card base just like so. Perfect. I love this look. I think this is such a pretty look on a card. And like I said, I had to work to perfect those pleats a little bit because I didn't like the way they were looking at first. I also want to do something to the inside of this card. So let me get an inside paper. From the Stamp of the Month Club set this month, I'm going to use some sentiments on here. Because I used Dream on the front of the card, I think that'll be perfect for inside. And I know you're wondering, this set is not available in the store yet, but it will be soon. So watch for it later at the end of the week. Whatever's left from Stamp Club shipping will be there. What I've done is I've lined up 3 of the sentiments on a big block, and I'm going to stamp it here at the top of the page. Let me get this guy straight so I don't mess myself up too much. And what I'm stamping here says, imagine what can happen when you dream. Isn't that pretty? I think that's gonna be pretty on the inside of that card. Just added some art glitter glue to the back. I'm going to place this inside, and we have plenty of room to write a sentiment. Perfect. Let me show that up close. So there's the top of it, and then when you look on the inside, there you go. I love how this card turned out. Let me bring my other one back over and show you. This is the first one I got to where I thought was right, and I'll show you the inside of it too. This one I used the stamp set called Happy, and so I used Happy Everything with the butterfly, because the front I used Happy as the sentiment. So there's that one. Now I'm going to show you those first 2 I did just to show you the difference again. So you can see how they kind of evolved, right? These were really simple when I first started, and then I ended up with these. I just think these look better, like I really worked it out. But I want to show you, if you only wanted to do the 4 pleats, you certainly could do that. You just have to adjust your measurements a little bit. But I just love the way this pleat looks on the card. So be sure to check out the blog post so you can get all the measurements. I'll make sure to have that up for you guys to be able to get it that way. And thanks so much for watching today. And thanks for asking me to do this card. This was a fun little challenge for me to try to figure out. And there's a lot of YouTube videos out there, and these are all over Pinterest if you want to go get inspiration. Those are some great ways to look. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.